Hello everyone. So I wasn't expecting to do a video, but here I am. As you can see from the title of this video, I wanted to talk about not having many friends or perhaps zero friends at a certain age in your life. And not saying this like it's going to be permanent, but finding yourself in a season of your life where you see things looking the opposite of how they looked in your life, in the past, even as far back, in my case, like 3 to 5 years ago, even a year ago. So I'm not saying this like, I think actually making this video helps me to perhaps if you're watching this and you are also in a similar position, that, it's not something to be ashamed of or to like feel like, well, what's wrong with me? I feel yes, I know we're in a time and space now where we are talking about, not being isolated. And I know the COVID pandemic really isolated a lot of people as far as how we had to really change up our lifestyles and our routines and what have you. And, people working remotely and having to social distance. So just for me making this video, it also is a way for me to recognize where I am as far as like my own spiritual path, my own life journey. And I am very thankful that as far as what inspired this video, I came across on my algorithm a video popped up about women 40 and older talking about not having many friends in their life. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, so people are talking about this. Like, I want to see what they're saying. Like, it helped me feel a little less alone and less like, is there something wrong? Like, I mean, I kind of understand why that's the case. And again, I don't feel like this is a permanent thing. I actually see the beauty of not having many friends at this phase of my life as also me being in a place where I am just so much more discerning, and I'm just very particular about how I spend my time and energy and with who I spend my time and energy with, and not wanting to connect and latch on to people that I could say, well, at least I have someone to talk to, or at least I have people to hang out with. Like, I just don't have a tolerance for inauthenticity. I hope I'm saying that right. Or inauthentic connections, or connections that just don't feel as if they are truly a match for where I am and who I am. And so also, from what another woman said in the video, and which I also said, is about, discernment, where I just feel like I'm at a point in my life where I can really see through people, and I can really see, I pick up well on facial expressions, energy, and I can just genuinely tell like who really wants to connect with me because there is a genuine connection, and who, and specifically when it comes to female connections, I have become very discerning of women who I sense, are they trying to compete with me? Do they see me as someone that they feel threatened by? Is there jealousy? And so I've just become very energetically sensitive to who really truly wants to connect with me and who I really feel a sense of resonance with, where there is a true like, okay, this person is not trying to compete with me. This is a woman who really understands, who I am, and we can really connect. And we don't have to force a friendship. Like, even when I initially meet someone, I don't initially say, oh, this is my friend. Like, okay, let's just see what happens. Like, friendships have to be, they have to be built. They have to be earned as well. And also mentioning earning. And if I sound congested, like I caught a cold like a day or two ago, and I've just been like nursing this cold like crazy this weekend. Like, I got some tea. I bought garlic yesterday. I was like, I just really want to nick this thing in the bud because the weather's getting better, and I'm happy it's spring officially. And yeah, so please, it'll get better. But yeah, I felt from seeing that video, I was like, well, I kind of want to talk about that and give my voice to this discussion because yeah, I think that, from the time we're young girls, I think that, and I'm not, don't get me wrong, I think that friendships are important, but it has to be the right friendships and with the right intentions, the right motivations. And it's okay to let friendships go that no longer are meeting you where you are that have run their course. And I feel like that is a completely natural thing where friendships can run their course. Like, it is okay to leave a friendship that you feel you have to kind of change and revert back to an old version of yourself just to keep it going, or just to keep the peace, or to not feel as if, oh, well, that person, like, they may not understand, or I'm letting them go. I think that it is really important to recognize the value of your time, and to really respect that, and to know that you deserve to be in the company and the presence of people who really are meeting you where you are, and where you're having connective conversations that are elevating, that match the direction you're going in. Like, oh my God, I feel so congested right now. Bear with me. Where you feel that the conversations are around, they're future directed, they're future oriented, they're growth oriented. And I realized I guess this may have been like the most recent connection that I just quietly walked away from. And I feel like we don't always owe everyone an explanation. In some cases, we may, depending on the dynamic, or depending on what came up, where we really feel we want to separate and just move on. And there was a connection that I decided to quietly just walk away from, just not text anymore, not make any phone calls. This was someone that I met when I lived in New York, and we worked at the same job. And I think that for a season of a few years, when I left New York, we still kept in touch. We did a few video calls. But I've recognized, over as recently as a few months ago, I just recognized that a lot of our conversations were around the past, and, back in New York, and they didn't feel very focused on where we were going, I was open to talking about where I was going in my future, but I just felt that the person I was talking to, like, they were really trying to clean up a lot of areas of their life. And so the conversations were moving towards the past or New York. And I just feel like that time of my life was important as far as self-growth, and in my journey I would not change that at all. Like, I needed to go to New York. I needed to have that wake-up call and to just evaluate myself, and the connections I made in New York were great. But I also have to recognize now, like, I've evolved from that version of myself. I've made many changes. I don't even have the same name that I had when I lived in New York. And I think that's also another part of why my orientation towards being very selective about friendships and connections has changed so much, because I feel with changing my name that I also have, in a way, like, set a new foundation in terms of my identity, my energy. I feel like my energy is not the same as 8/11 when I said that. And my birthday is on August the 11th, which is 4 months from this video. Well, it's August, I said August the 11th, but it's April 12th now, like 1 a.m. doing this video 1 a.m. I get a lot of inspiration on the weekends, like in the wee hours of the night. So I was like, I have to do this video. But yeah, I'll be 40 4 months from, this point in time. And so I just really, oh my God, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying before? The 8/11 like had me in a zone, but I'll do my best. But that part of my life with changing my name, my energy, and all of that, I feel that becoming Selena, becoming a new person, that because of that shift, like, it has altered in a good way my perception of people and being able to read people in a deep way. And also, my name, Selena, comes from the moon goddess Selene, and that's moon energy. In Greek mythology, Selene was the moon goddess. For Romans, it was Luna. And so the moon also represents the intuition. If you look at astrology, our moon sign represents, the aspects of our emotions, as far as like what are our innate reactions on an emotional level when it comes to things, like what feels like, what resonates with our sense of emotional home. The moon rules Cancer, which is also the fourth house, which is our sense of inner security, whether that be also physical security as far as our home structure, but also that inner emotional security, like what feels like home, what connects with you on an emotional level. And so I think that really becoming more intuitive with this new day that I have, that it has really make me very selective about my energy, my time, really seeing people for who they are, like not gaslighting myself into ignoring what I notice about people. If I recognize that I don't think this person likes me, or I don't think I like this person, am I just going to be around this person just to be around them? Or am I going to listen to myself and just be okay with not connecting with that person and just having a growth mindset when it comes to friendships? Like, not seeing this as a, not seeing anything from a place of scarcity, but recognizing that there are billions of people in the world. I don't have to be friends with everyone. No one's going to be friends with everyone in the world. But knowing that those connections that I'm meant to have are going to find me, and not putting energy into connections that don't serve me will keep me from meeting and connecting with those people who are for me, who are meant to meet me where I am and above and beyond. So I'm at the point in my life where and from watching that video, and I want to make it known that it is okay to find yourself in a season, or maybe on a long-term basis, where you are feeling that you don't want a lot of friendships in your life, where you feel that you're okay with your own company. And it doesn't mean that, you don't talk to people. I'm not saying that at all. Like, I know how to get to social gatherings. Like, thanks to meetup.com. This is not a sponsored video or anything, but I started doing meetup.com back in college, like, to find social events. So if there's a weekend where I'm like, I want to go out, I want to hang out with some people, I don't mind doing that. Like, I still don't mind having like social like engagement. Like, I know I need that and I do crave that, but I'm also not clinging on to like, okay, when I go there, I got to make a friend. Like, just see what happens, let things flow. And, sometimes you have those experiences where like sometimes it's just that in the moment situation. So in my case, like in the fall of 2024, I'm in South Korea. That's where I live at now. I had the day off work and I was running an errand. I needed to go to the grocery store. It was like around noon or so, sometime after 12, I believe. It was like the lunchtime hour. And so I'm at the grocery store, and at the store, I notice, I mean, obviously because Korea, is, Koreans are the majority. When you see someone who's not Korean, obviously they're going to stick out, just like I stick out. So there was a group of black women who were at the grocery store, and I noticed them. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I wonder, are they on vacation? Or, hey, that's interesting. And so as I was leaving the store, and they were also finishing up, and they kind of waved me down like, oh, hey. And so we started a conversation, and they were really nice ladies. It was about 5 or 6 of them. They were traveling for like some missionary outreach work. And, they were asking me about why I was, living here. And I told them about, being a teacher. And, at that moment, they were also like, yeah, so, yeah, we're about to get lunch, but do you know this area well? And I said, oh, I live, in this neighborhood. My apartment's like right over there. And so they're like, yeah, well, we, for some of us, Korean food doesn't sit well with all of us. Is there like any like American style food? Like, they really wanted like a taste of the US. And I get it. I have like, trust me, I need that too. And in my neighborhood, actually, there is a restaurant that was open, was because it's still open, but yeah, it's owned by a couple. The wife is Korean American, her husband's Korean, and so she lived in New Orleans for several years. So she has like this New Orleans soul food style restaurant with a mixture of other foods, like some Mexican foods, but it's like really hearty soul food, just mac and cheese bites, like nacho plates, you get it. And so I was like, oh, there's a place you would love it. It's like literally a block away. So we went over to the restaurant and we talked. We had a good bond. We took a photo together. It just felt like, I felt that it was like a divine meeting for me to meet these ladies at that moment, because they needed someone to connect with, because they were also wanting to find some food that would feed their soul and just have a good lunch. And so we were able to talk. We had a good lunch together. And, I think, what was it? I think I had WhatsApp. Yeah, I had WhatsApp. And so I told them like, hey, let me know when because they were actually going to be flying out the following day. So I was like, wow, look at the timing. And I didn't know what was going to come about. They were telling me about their, the religious organization that they're with. And, I listened. I'm not someone who is trying to be converted to anything, but I listen with, with compassion and respect. And they gave me some, materials so I could look at them. And, I didn't make any promises like, oh, we should keep, I just said, this was, I mean, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, okay, let me know when you get to the airport. And, so I exchanged, I think, WhatsApp with, I think it was with one of them. She was like going to be the communicator for the group. But, we just met, had our lunch. We walked back to the metro station together because that's where they were going to meet with their other friends. And so when we messaged a little bit, me and I guess the leader of, I would say the leader, but the organizer of the group, like she let me know when they got to the airport and when they were flying out. And then that was about it. And she did message, I think a week or so later, asking about my Thanksgiving. I don't think I replied. I think I may have sent like a brief reply, but I also just felt like it was meant to be a connection in that moment. And I just didn't feel like it was meant to be a connection that I needed to like keep going over WhatsApp. And also I think I'm at a place in my life where it would have to be a very special connection and space for me to want to like keep a connection going that's strictly over like texting, WhatsApping, Now a long distance relationship is a different thing. But when it's like an acquaintance and it's like, yeah, I just feel different about it because I'm also like not as big of a texter in a way. Like, so even the way I communicate is different. So sharing that story because it just let me know that sometimes you have those connections that you're meant to have at that moment in time because you're the answer to someone's prayer. They need that person to come through at that particular moment, and you're the answer to that prayer. You're the answer to that call that they sent out, to the universe, to the divine. And I think that was what that meeting was meant to be. I don't think it was meant for us to connect on a long-term basis, but it was for that moment. And so I am open to having friendships that will be sustainable, that will meet me where I am going and how I'm evolving and who I am. And it's just something that I feel has to just click, and we just kind of just understand each other. Like some things can just be unspoken where we just kind of know, and those can be very rare and hard to find. And I think they're the connections that you experience when you're not actively looking for them. I think that when they just happen organically, or you're just in that right place at the right time and you're just meant to be connecting with that person, and like there's something that you just feel like we want to keep this momentum going. There's something here that we don't want to like move away from. Like there's something where we see each other's journeys, we see each other's paths, and we both feel like we're meant to play a part in each other's paths. So that's how I'm approaching friendships and connections. Like again, I know how to get to my meetup groups, and actually, I'm still open, like going to meetup groups. Actually, I went to like a speed dating event 2 weekends ago because I had never done it. And I was like, I want to try speed dating. Like nothing has to come about, but I just wanted to get the practice in because like I'm kind of dusting off the cobwebs of my dating life. And I just wanted to have that experience, and it was great. And so again, I know how to find those connections when I need them. But I guess before I wrap up the video, I just want to leave the takeaway of this is like a new phase of life. I'm looking forward to turning 40. Like I feel great. I'm excited for the changes that are coming about in my life as far as where I'll be living a year from now or sooner. I'm excited for the opportunities. And, it's okay to know when to walk away from a friendship. Like I may have mentioned this, I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but I had a 20-year plus friendship that I walked away from because I recognized this person was not honoring my sense of emotional safety, boundaries, and I just knew that this was it. I couldn't keep the friendship going. And there was like a warning before that. I went no contact with this person for about a year, and then I decided to like start a conversation with them, give them a call, and just see if we could like, start over. And then the same issue came up again, and I was like, okay, this is it. And I think that part of me on this journey of I changed my name, I think that letting go of that friendship, it actually happened about a year before I did change my name. I think that my spirit team was preparing me for this new part of my life where those friendships and connections that I had in that previous version of me were not going to be able to stay as far as who I needed to become and who I needed to evolve into. And that's beautiful to be willing to embrace that. And I'm thankful for the connection when it served me at that part of my life. At the same time, I'm thankful that I chose myself and I chose my inner voice. I chose my intuition and just listening to my gut and just knowing that, again, not having a scarcity mindset when it comes to people and connections, like just knowing that there are people out there who are willing and that will meet me where I am and where I'm going. And above that, like who are willing to elevate me as well, like taking me as far as to a place spiritually where we both see growth together, like we're growing together. We feel emotionally safe. We feel we understand and respect each other, and that's so important. So if you're a woman out there, no shame. If you are in a place of your life where you don't have many friends, it's okay. I understand. I know my reasons and I'm okay with them. Like I'm so discerning. Not everyone, and I'm also recognizing like not everyone deserves access to my energy. I'm also very protective of my energy and who is willing to handle my energy safely. Um, when I was at a few events, again, social events, I actually was at a women's conference at the end of March, and I'm glad I went because I was like, I wanted to go to hear these women's stories and just connect. And I was like, hey, if I connect with someone and we decide to like keep in touch and it feels organic, I'm open to that. And there's one thing that I'm not as okay with. Again, maybe it depends on the person, but people love to ask for like your Instagram, and I'm someone where I'm like, if I'm just meeting you for the first time, I'm not going to give you my Instagram account. I just don't want to be like that open of a book with someone that I've just met, whether it's male or female. I feel like let's let there be other ways that we can connect. Like let's meet over coffee, let's chat. And then as we get to know each other, and I do feel a sense of emotional safety, that there is growth here, that I do feel like we're meeting each other in a very enlightened place, then I will, it's a chance I may share my Instagram with you. But off the bat, like, yeah, what's your Instagram? I'm like, wait, first of all, like, we don't really know each other, but you want to see all these photos I've uploaded, and you don't really know me that well, but I'm like, you're not going to see all these photos and posts that I've made. And, there are layers to this, like there are levels to this, getting to know who I am. And thank you for being here on this YouTube channel. And if anything I shared connected with you, please subscribe, like the video, leave a comment if you connect with this. And I think I'll just leave it there. So thank you, and happy spring if it's spring in your part of the world. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.